to the Charlene Show. Now, please help me welcome the host, God's woman, Charlene.
Thank you for coming out and joining us. And as you see, I have a tennis racket. I have no idea what I'm doing, but we have a guest today, and she's going to talk to us about tennis, but it's way deeper than that. We're going to interview a young lady, up and rising tennis star, Jubilee Perez. We'll talk about her middle name later. But we're going to interview Jubilee today. I guarantee you this is going to be so awesome. It's a young person who has her sights on her future. She's committed. I need you to call all of your grandchildren, your children, your nieces, your nephews, because this is going to inspire you. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Grab yourself a snack so you can just sit and watch us. See you in a moment.
Have you guys heard the rumor that Loveland's on TikTok? Well, guess what? It's no rumor at all. Loveland is officially on TikTok. We've got some exciting challenges coming up soon. Tag us on TikTok, like and share our videos so we can give you a shout out. And you can also stay informed of our upcoming TikTok events. Don't forget, like, share.
Welcome back. I am so excited about my guest today. Her name is Jubilee Shalom Perez. I love your name, first of all. I'll give you a proper introduction, but I love that.
Thank you.
Jubilee and then Shalom. Anyhow, Jubilee is an up and rising tennis star. If you saw the movie King Richard, you will understand a little bit of what it takes for someone to become a star in any athletic area. But today we have Jubilee. And so Jubilee, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so glad to interview you. I see you on Sundays working behind the camera with your dad, shadow to your father. Woo. Yeah, we're going to talk about your dad later on. But so you have quite a story. Yes. I'm impressed with you already. And I read this in the City Pride magazine, your whole story. And we know that Charles Jackson is the editor on that magazine. Yes. So let's talk about Jubilee. So first of all, how old are you?
I'm currently 14 years old, so...
When's your birthday?
February 29th. So
February? That means
it's a leap year.
Leap year, baby. Oh, wow. So your birthday comes every 4 years.
Yes.
So,
it's kind of weird, but...
Weird? Do you like it?
I like it because it's unique, but sometimes I do forget every once in a while that it is February 29th, so...
Okay, so do you celebrate on February 28th or March 1st?
I celebrate on February 28th because my dad's birthday is March 2nd, so it'd be too close to that.
Oh,
so
you
I
want
have my own month.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't know that's when Pastor Perez's birthday was, March the 2nd. So you've been playing tennis. You've been quite successful at such a young age. You're going to high school next year.
Yes, I am, and I'm very nervous and excited at the same time for that.
You know, I can still remember going to high school, and the nice thing about it is, even though when you're in 9th grade, you're the low man on the totem pole, and it is kind of nerve-wracking, you'll get used to it really quick. But then just think, when you get to be a junior or senior, then you get to be top man or top girl on the totem pole.
Yeah.
And so, because right now you're in 8th grade, you just did you have your graduation
I had my
ceremony?
promotion, on Monday I did, and it was fun, it's a lot of mixed emotions just because knowing that I went from junior to now freshman is very nerve-wracking, I guess.
Okay, what's the main thing that you think about that causes it to be nerve-wracking?
I just like, it feels like time just passes so quick. It feels like just a year ago I was in 4th grade or 5th grade, but now I'm in 9th grade and as a freshman, so.
We call people like you old souls. Because those kids your age do not think like that. But time does go very, very
Yes.
fast, and we have to make the most of our time. And you're making the most of your time already with tennis.
Yes.
So I've been reading all about your story. I'm going to just, Jubilee Perez is on her way to a great tennis career. She is already a young star competing at a very high level. She is armed with a clear vision and determined to write her name into tennis history. And so I just love that. Did you see the movie, King Richard?
Yes, I did. That was very inspiring for me. On many notes, I can relate to what they went through and how they felt during these tournaments and times. So that was it was very close. So it hit home almost, but it was very, very inspiring seeing how these girls were brought up and how they were changed as a person and challenged, and it was just it was very nice.
You just did a sermon, changed and challenged. I have to write that down. I will definitely use that as a point in one of my upcoming sermons. And so, so what are some of the parallels, specific parallels between that movie and their family and your family and you in particular?
I think that I could relate to that because my dad is very straightforward and outgoing, and he knows what he wants for his kids, and he knows how to get it. And I think that's the part that I relate to for him. And then for my mom, she's very supportive. She believes in me. She knows I could do these things, and she's with me all the way. She's with my father. And for me personally, it's probably with how they felt in these tournaments and how they were brought up and knowing who they are and finding who they are. So,
well, that is awesome. Let's talk about your tennis story.
Yes.
I mean, you might feel like you're old, but you're still so young. You have your whole life ahead of you. And I'm just excited. I'll probably have you sign this so that one day I can get some money for it. I can just say, I know her. She went to our church. I watched her grow up. And so, so how did your tennis story begin?
Well, when I was 5, I used to play softball, but it just wasn't for me. It was a lot of things going on in that, so I decided to just kind of stay off of that for a while. But then later on, my brother actually played tennis, so I would just kind of copy what he was doing with my racket, and I'd swing at the fences and swing at the wall that they had. And so that's how I really learned about hitting the ball and like just the basics of tennis, of the forehand and the backhand. So I did that, and then afterwards, coaches recommended to my parents that I would be put in tennis. So here I am.
So even at age 5, you know, sometimes when we go shopping and we don't know exactly what we're looking for, and we'll say, well, I'll know it when I see it.
Yeah.
So it almost seems like that was from softball to tennis, like you'll know it, you knew it.
For sure, yeah.
So you loved it right from the beginning.
I did. It felt different, it felt new, and it felt like I was doing something that I've never done before, exploring something that I've never seen or felt before. So.
Wow, so you've been playing tennis for 9 years.
Yes.
Wow. So let me ask you about school then. Do most of your friends are they tennis people or?
No.
Okay,
no.
Okay.
But
do you have time for friends?
I do. I have time for friends, but mostly tennis. I try to keep the two separate, but sometimes they do collide, and it's funny that way. But yes, I do have time for friends. I make time, and that's like my off work stuff. So.
Oh, okay. That is great. Now with tennis, there's so much discipline and so much commitment and so many sacrifices that I can imagine that you've had to make.
Yes.
So with your friends, sacrifices sometimes.
Well, tennis is a mental game, so mentally I've had to, I guess, mature in that way of trying to be more confident in myself and trying to strive for more and trying to believe in myself is the main factor that I've been working on because I don't know, I haven't really been too confident, but it is mental, so it does take effect to that.
So I want you to go a little bit deeper and help me understand when you say tennis is a mental game.
Yes.
Make me understand that.
Well, comparing, let's say, soccer or baseball or football, tennis, you're just by yourself unless you're doing doubles or any of that. So it's all the pressure's on you. There's no coaching. There's really nobody to cheer you on until the point is over. So that's where the mental comes in and it takes over. So
That is really, now I've never even thought about that. Yeah, because if you're playing basketball or football or any of those or soccer, but with tennis, and it's always quiet.
yeah, it is until the point's over.
Till the
Then they go,
point's over.
woo, and
Then that-
I'll cheer.
So you're there, and so, wow. There's something, at a young age, let me just tell you, sometimes there's something that we call cricket moments. And that's when somebody says something that is so profound that you just want to just like, wow, stop and think about it. I'm interviewing you, so I don't have time to have a cricket moment with that, but I will. I definitely want to do that. So how does confidence play into tennis?
Confidence plays into it because you have to know in your knower that you can win, that you can do this. Because if you have the mindset of failing, then you're going to fail, and it's just all going downhill from there. So confidence is key in tennis and in other sports that have the mental game, because that's what helps you know what you're doing. That's what helps you go where you're going, and it takes everything with it.
So you've had to actually learn how to focus
Yes.
on what you're doing for the moment.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Do you, I don't even know if you understand this, but there are so many places in life that would help someone, not just in tennis or sports, period, just to focus, have confidence in yourself. And this is one of the hardest things for teenagers, to believe in themselves and have confidence. Where does that come from?
God.
No, but how have you, what has helped you over the years? I'm sure you've struggled with, most girls compare themselves to other girls, and, you know, I went through that stage. So how have you been able to have confidence in Jubilee?
I just try to focus on all the good things, every achievement that I have done, every achievement that I'm doing, and then I focus on myself more than I focus on others. I care for others, but I try to mostly care for myself, so it helps my game and it helps my confidence level in that way. So that's the main point probably of how I got confident. And it's basically just focusing on yourself, honestly.
So that you can be the best that you can
Yes.
be. So at this particular moment, when it comes down to your tennis game, what's your greatest strength?
Probably, I don't know, my forehand maybe.
Your forehand?
My forehand, yeah.
Now, I was watching, okay, so, and Jubilee, you've been around me at church on Sunday, so you
Yes,
know I
yes,
just
yes.
get kind of up, okay? I was watching King Richard today. I've seen it already, but
great
I wanted
movie.
to watch it again just to prepare myself to talk to you, so I could at least so I could be smarter than a fifth grader. And I remember when Venus was in that tournament and she was winning, and the lady iced her. Mm-hmm. And what's that mean again? To ice?
Just to get them cold, just to get them out of their zone of what they're thinking and just to unfocus them.
Yeah, that's really good, and help them to lose confidence.
Yeah.
While the other person is gaining. And it was so amazing because she was winning, And then when the girl went to the restroom for all
Everything
that
went
time,
downhill.
yeah, and everybody's like, that's not fair, that's not fair. They don't have rules against this? Do they now have rules against that? Can somebody go for 9 minutes that long?
I think that they do have rules now set in place for the pros.
Okay.
That I think it's 2 minutes, and then I think they're supervised too,
Okay.
just to make sure that nothing's going on in there.
That they're not just icing
yeah, the other
person.
player.
And so I watched Venus in that tournament totally lose confidence. So now I see what you're talking about. Because she believed in herself. So I think you're saying that believing in yourself.
Yes.
So when you go into a tournament, do you go in like, I can do this, I can win this?
I do. That's my main focus, is trying to push myself to do it, trying to think for myself and trying to know for myself that I can do this, using probably good words rather than bad words against myself. So that really helps.
Speaking of good words, and I really meant to bring mine down, and they're up in my office, because I have affirmations that I tell
yes.
myself. Do you have affirmations that
I
you
do
go?
before each tournament and even after tournaments too.
What are some of your affirmations?
I could do this, you got this, I know I could do this, and then sometimes it's like, you know you're better, you got this, and it's just over and over and over again, and then after a while it builds up, and it does help confidence, it does help everything. So
It helps you to win.
Yeah.
You know what? And I know your faith is really strong, and you had actually said a few minutes ago when I asked you the question, you said God, and I kind of skimmed over that. But so how has your faith helped your tennis game?
My faith has helped my tennis game. It really helps knowing who you are, and I find that in Christ, and I find that in the teachings, and that's what really helps me. So knowing that helps my confidence, it helps everything that comes with it too, and even mentally, not just as a player, not just as a tennis player, but as a person. So
That's absolutely amazing. Now, I see you have this cute red T-shirt on, and it says Diadem.
Yes.
What is that?
I actually got sponsored by Diadem, and here I am.
What is Diadem?
Diadem is a tennis brand. They do pickleball, and then they do tennis. They make rackets, which is right here.
Okay.
And so I got sponsored, and it was a huge blessing for me to get sponsored by them, because that was just amazing. That was a dream come true, actually, to get sponsored by a brand. So I'm very grateful for that.
Okay, what does that mean to be sponsored by a brand?
Oh.
Yep, you know, because this is not my
I'm
world.
sorry.
So you're my teacher today.
Oh.
So teach me, teacher, teach me.
So being sponsored by a brand means you wear their clothing and you show off their clothing, and you wear it to tournaments, you wear it while you play, and that's what it really means to be sponsored. So
Do they pay for your coaches? What do they give you, since you're giving them?
they gave
play?
me percentage off of clothing brands
Okay.
and everything that they make, basically. So I just order it and then it comes in. So
Okay, that's a nice thing. So do you have a coach?
I do, yes.
Wow. How long have you had a coach?
Well, there's been like 1 year that I haven't had a coach at all, and that was 2020 because everything just went downhill from there.
Right. So you had a coach before that?
Yeah, I had a
How
coach
old were you
before.
when you got your first coach?
When was that? Like 6, 7, 6 around there.
I commend your parents. We'll talk to them later, because I commend your parents. I truly do. So you didn't have a coach during the pandemic, but now you have a coach again?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
Since
so talk to
2021
me
again.
about that. Tell me about how many hours you have to practice a week. Tell us about that.
Maybe, well, I do 4 days a week and probably around 2 hours. Oh, there I am.
Wow.
But
Oh,
probably
wow.
around 2 hours each day, and then afterwards I maybe will play with my parents and we'll just have fun there. But probably around 2 hours.
Both your parents play tennis? Solomon
And
too?
my brother, yes.
I know you guys are a really tight-knit family. And you guys do
Yes.
everything together. Some of my audience, you might not know that Jubilee is a total daddy's girl when we see her. Her father works on our staff team of Loveland Church, and they have to be here on Sunday morning. What time do you all get here when you're on time?
Probably around 7, but we drive and
All the
we
way
wake up
from
earlier,
Riverside.
so
What time do you have to get up on Sunday morning?
probably 6
6?
o'clock. Yeah.
I'm just curious, okay, because that's early on Sunday morning, and a lot of teenagers don't even want to come to church for 10:30 service. Why do you do that?
I like helping out my dad, but I also like learning about these cameras and directing and all that. I like media, so I think that's what I like doing here, and then I like seeing what my dad does. So that's really fun for me in a way. So
besides
sounds odd, but
the
it's fun.
tennis, right? Besides the tennis, you're also learning
Camera, media,
Yes,
everything.
and that's awesome. So let me ask you another question. How do you improve your game?
I probably start off mentally, then physically, of course, by working out, stretching, doing all that. Even using ice to cool down the wrist so it doesn't cramp or bloat or whatever.
Before each tournament?
Before and after, especially because you're using it constantly in your legs and everything else, every joint, every part.
So you're icing your wrist. How do you ice your wrist, though? You put
You just use an ice pack and you just put it on top wherever you need it to put. And especially it prevents like injuries, so that really helps too. And mentally is probably confidence, like I said, and probably, well, confidence is the main key. So there it is.
I absolutely love that. Now, I know that the article said that Serena was your favorite tennis player. Do you study other tennis players?
I do, yes.
How?
Well, I watch them on TV, and during their matches, their games, I study them, and I see their hits, and I compare their hits to see what I'm doing wrong even, and what I need to fix on my backhand, or my forehand, or my serves, or slices, or volleys. But so that's what I mainly do, and it has actually helped me to become a better player. So I would recommend watching other pros and tennis players. So.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. So you're studying them and the game as a whole.
Yes.
Okay. Wait a minute, do you all have a tennis club at your school?
No.
At your high school that you're going to? Will you have one?
Well, it depends. I may go to a high school that has tennis team, but currently, no, I don't have a tennis team at my school.
If you went to a high school that had a tennis team, though, you have your own coach. My thought is like, that might mess up what her coach is teaching her. Like on King Richard, when he was talking about that open stance.
Yes, and then it's like closed stance.
Yeah, and then I can't remember which coach it was, but it's like, that's not how you hit that ball. And I understand that Rick Macy has invited you someplace?
Yes, to his tennis academy out in Florida. So I don't know where that will go, but that seems very interesting.
Wow, that was a funny part of the show. Rick Macy, that whole thing, especially when he told the show. Listen, if you guys have not seen King Richard, I really, truly recommend that you watch the movie because it does show that young people like Jubilee, since 5 years old, you're like a tennis Mozart or Beethoven, whichever one started when they were little kids. That's what you're like. I have a couple more questions and then we have to go to break. So this is a funny one. But in the movie, King Richard had them playing in the rain, had them practicing in the rain. Please tell me you don't.
No, I'm not that crazy.
So I don't have to be the neighbor that goes and reports.
No.
And so, and where do you practice though?
Well, I practice out in Corona.
Okay.
And I go over there, practice for a while, and then I really actually travel back and forth to different places depending on the area and stuff like that. But I mainly go out in Corona and play tennis there.
We are going, I'm going to tell my producers, we are going to go to a commercial. I promise you guys. But I do have a couple more questions I need to ask Jubilee. First, I see these trophies, but I've seen pictures of you with like a whole lot of trophies. So how old were you when you won your first trophy?
Going back in time now.
Do you remember even?
Maybe 10, 9, 10, yeah, around there.
How'd you feel?
It felt really good. I mean, it felt fun to play. It felt fun to win a trophy, of course, because you see it and you're like, that's amazing. It's a huge piece of metal. That's
Yeah, for sure.
It's shiny.
It is shiny and beautiful. I love them. This blue one is like wow. And so, when was the last trophy you won? When's the last time you won a trophy?
Probably around 3 weeks ago, maybe.
3 weeks ago. What trophy did you win?
I don't know if it's here, but I don't know. I can't remember actually.
Okay.
But I don't think it's here. It's probably another
Well,
one
I
at
know
the house,
your
but
dad said you had so many trophies. There's no way you could bring them all. I'm just blessed that you brought these. So I do have, and I'm going to cut. I promise you guys, I'm going to cut. Okay. I want to liken this to vision. Vision. When you're playing, well, first of all, are you just playing for fun or are you playing to win?
competitively,
Okay,
yes.
you're playing to win.
To win.
Okay, and do you see that trophy even as do you see you winning that trophy?
Sometimes, I'm going to be honest, sometimes I don't, and
Okay.
that's the time of doubt that I come into.
Okay.
But I try to bring back myself to reality and use those kind words to myself again of like, you could do this, you got this. And that's when I really do see the trophy ahead and I do see a win. But I mainly focus on playing rather than the trophies and all that. So I think that is key, and then you'll get the trophy after.
Doing your best.
Yes.
Not necessarily being the best, but doing your best.
Yes.
Because if you do your best, you know you did your best.
Yes.
No matter what the outcome is.
And then you'll keep going higher and higher from there. So.
And I totally love what you just said, because I think that's really important, and not just as in athletes and not just as a young person, but in life, period. It's so much better for us to not have to compare ourselves and be the best person.
Yes.
But it is important that we are the best.
To
we don't have to
ourselves.
compare with them, but our best.
Yes.
Being our best.
Yes.
Oh my God, Jubilee, I could talk to you over and over and over. Does it ever get overwhelming?
Yes, it does. Every once in a while, you kind of need to take a breather and like in and out, like, but I think once you know where you're going and you have that mindset, then it's fine from there and it's not overwhelming anymore. But it does get overwhelming sometimes especially if you overthink like the tournaments and everything that's going on, like, oh, I lost this one, but I could win another one, and you pressure yourself too much.
So, have you had setbacks?
I have, and that's probably mostly mentally, actually, because sometimes I really do doubt myself. I'm not very nice to myself. I'm very hard on myself, as my parents would know. But overall, yes, I think everybody has their setbacks in life.
Yeah, that's life. And you're learning it early. And those setbacks, have they made you better?
They have, because that's what builds up character traits and a person. That's what really helps them. And I think those setbacks are a step forward to who you're going to become. So
I cannot believe what you just now said, Jubilee. That is so awesome. You just said every setback is a step forward. And that's just a lesson for anybody of any age, no matter the setback, that God's going to use that. Because, you know, you hear this at church all the time. All things work together
Yes.
for the good. of those who love the Lord, who are called according to God's purpose. So we're going to be back.
Yes.
We're going to be back. I have somebody special that's going to join us. So listen, if you're enjoying this, as I know you are, call your friends, tell them to tune in and watch this interview, because if you're enjoying this as much as I am, you want everybody to see this. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I am here with Jubilee Shalom Perez, up and coming tennis star. And I really shouldn't just say up and coming, because she's already a tennis star in her rights. But God's going to do more with her over the years. And I'm just so excited just to know her. We are joined by Jubilee's parents, Rosie Perez and our own Pastor Chucky Perez. And so thank you all for coming on to be with Jubilee.
Oh, thanks, Sharon.
Thank you
Thank
for
you so
having
much.
us.
I'm just so impressed with your daughter and with the job that you all have how God has used you to mold her and to the purpose that she has. I have a couple more questions for Jubilee first. Okay, so Jubilee, you know, in the movie Fun was a real big part of Richard's desire for his children. Are you having fun?
I am. I mean, you have to have fun doing everything that you love in order to love it.
I like that. This girl has a lot of wisdom. I mean, she really,
is.
really does. I
She's
told
very
her
wise.
during the show, we called young people like this old souls.
Yeah.
That's when they are so mature beyond their years. And so, and then I'm going to ask you one more question, and then I'm going to bring your parents in. What's your dream at this particular point? What do you want to do with tennis?
I've always wanted to become a pro, but my backup plan is college first. So, and then pro, hopefully be recognized, but
No, that's your confidence that you will be recognized. And you know what? Speaking of college first, I forgot to ask you about your grades in school. What are your grades?
oh, no, just kidding. They're all A's, honor rolls currently, so thank you.
All A's, currently honor roll. So you are really doing a good job of managing your priorities. And so let me ask you guys something. So she's already a high achiever in tennis and obviously with school.
Yes.
So is there like a thing that if her grades drop, then she doesn't get to play tennis, or you just...
Exactly.
Just a beating. We'll get to that segment later.
Okay, so, yeah.
You know, Rosie's. I have to admit, Rosie's the one that's in the grades and on the kids for schooling. I'm the last resort. If it ever gets to me, that
You're
means
in
they're
trouble.
They're
Yeah.
in trouble. That
Yes.
means I have to go to the school or something. But it's never gotten there, thank the Lord.
And
But,
I'm sure it won't.
But we always taught them, you know, education is so important. So, and Rosie's always, I mean, she's the brains. I say she's the brains. I'm the creative side, but she's the one that's really on the kids, you know, as far as their education, being on them, their schoolwork, pick it up. You got a B. Let's try to get an A, you know, that kind of thing. So,
Yes. Education is priority. Of course, God first.
Right.
but education. And we know that she loves to play tennis. So it's not that we use it against her, but we
Just
do.
ammunition.
It does come into play like, okay, your grades, have to be up there in order to play. Because,
Sure, that
at
mic is
school,
on. Sorry.
yeah, at school, any school, you're not able to be on any school
That's
team
true.
unless you have the grades. And so I tell her the same thing. You are not allowed to play tennis unless your grades are there. So if you're not done with your homework, you haven't done a class, then you need to do that first in order to play tennis.
I am I'm almost as impressed with you all as I am with your daughter. But let me ask you, let me just kind of say a couple of things. We have 4 sons, and I know what that was like, having to chauffeur them from the time they were, I think Chuck Jr. was like 3 when we put him into soccer. And that's a lot. It's a lot of commitment. It's a lot of, it's just a lot. So how do you all do this with the practices? 4 practices a week plus school? Do you take a bus to school or what?
No, no,
So
no.
plus taking to school. How do you all manage that?
Well, the blessing of it is that it takes sacrifice. It takes sacrifice on her part, but on everybody in the family. I didn't have to, but I chose to quit my job in order to be there for the kids. When Solomon, our oldest, was, I think he was 2, he was about 2, I decided to stay home and take care of him and see him through school and be there for him. And they were both in charter schools, which is kind of like a homeschool.
Yes.
So I was teaching them at home. And we took her out of public school when she was in 4th grade. That was our choice to do that because of situations there at that school. But she flourished. We were able to spend time with her, and we were able to put in scriptures for her to learn every day. Every morning we'd start off with prayer, and we did scriptures, and so that was her schooling. And so we've been there, and so we're able to do that with her. And she's still going into charter school. That's why she doesn't take a bus, because we have to travel far to take her to this school when she does attend in person. And also,
But the school allows her, the type of school she attends allows her to really devote a lot of time to tennis.
yes.
All right.
So we
Yes.
made a choice. We wanted to, and then we understand not every parent can do this, because a lot of times both parents are working full-time jobs, and they depend on the public school system. There's nothing wrong. I know a lot of kids go to public school. My sister, my family works in public school. Rosie worked for the public school system. But nowadays,
Right.
it's what it is now.
It's
And it's a lot different than years ago. And so we said we wanted to avoid all the drama that goes on with young people. So early on, Rosie found this great school, and that still uses the same curriculum. And we put both kids in. I mean, Solomon first, and then Jubilee right in there. And it just benefits. They can go as fast as they want,
Yes.
quick, and accelerate, because it's
Yes.
in what they do. But at the same time, it allows them to do what their passion is, whatever that is, And so in this case, it's tennis for her. So.
No, I think I'm totally in agreement with that. And I like how you said it, because every parent can't do that, and every parent doesn't necessarily want to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's different strokes for different folks. And when it's your child, you have to make the decisions that is best for your child.
Yeah, because you know your child.
Yes.
And so we knew our children, and we knew what they needed and what was best for them, and we chose this route.
And early on, Charlotte, we looked at the gifts they had. It's so important to see what your kids. You have to be honest. I mean, everybody wants their child to be the best at whatever, right?
Right.
They're gonna be. I mean, we go to these tournaments, and every father there thinks that they're King Richard.
Yes.
Even before we saw the King Richard movie, I said they think that their kid's the next Serena, and it's kind of like I'm like, because I played sports. So, and Rosie played tennis in school, in high school. So we kind of know our kids, that they have it. And I'm sure, also, your husband, Pastor Chuck, he played football. The sons played football. I mean,
We were athletic. I was
athletic.
the cheerleader.
You were a
I was cheerleader in college
That's
and high
still
school.
athleticism right there. But you know what your child. So I would encourage any parent to just really see your children, even at any age right now.
Right.
See what their passion is, what their gifts are, and really help it flourish. Really just sow into that, And so with her, I mean, she does a lot. She sings, she writes, she does artwork. I mean, just a bunch of stuff. She was playing a little guitar at one time, just different things. But we're like, gosh, she's a natural on the court. When we saw her play softball, I was like, whoa, but it got really drama. I mean, a lot of.
Right.
When we put her in tennis, what happened? I'll give you the short end. She was hitting against the fence. Remember that? And you were only like 5, I think, at the time. And you were hitting against the fence while Solomon was taking lessons, and he's athletic. It's not his passion.
Yeah.
His passion is graphic design and art and photography and so on. So a lot of what you see, the photos, especially the magazine cover, that's Solomon, And my good friend over here, you mentioned him, Sir Charles, I call him. Sir Charles, that's his publishing right there, his magazine. But anyhow, what we did is we saw her hitting against the fence, and one of the coaches, she would hit for 3 hours by herself at the fence. And I thought, oh, she's so hyped. She just got a lot of energy. and I remember one parent walking by and saying, congratulations. And I said, I'm thinking, for what? And he said, well, look at her. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm looking at her. She won't stop. Then the coaches there said, she needs to play. And that's how it started. We took her right out of softball and said, they're doing tennis, and she's flourishing.
Who takes her to the tennis, to her lessons?
We both.
We both do sometimes,
We both do.
Yeah, we both take
Taking
her.
turns or together?
Together.
The whole family's together?
Yeah,
Well,
sometimes Solomon even goes with us
Wow.
if he's
Now,
available.
Solomon's like 19?
He's going to be
He's
21.
going to be 21,
Solomon's
yeah.
gonna be
He's
21,
finishing up at CBU, so
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. That's
he's
right.
finishing there.
Well, and Solomon, as we know, is the photographer and graphic artist, design artist, and that's. So, let me ask you. If you had a favorite day, and you weren't doing tennis, what would you be doing? You can do anything you want, but that's a day. It's your day off from tennis, and you have no homework.
Oh, no homework too. It's a tough decision. I love nature, like hiking and stuff, so maybe that. But then again, I think the other part of me, the teenage side, is probably thinking like amusement park or like a trampoline park or something. So I'd probably do something like that, or ice skating too.
Oh, wow.
I hurt my ankle on that and I couldn't go back, but
Okay. So you've tried a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But your niche is tennis. I love to hike too. I have to take you up to Mount Baldy one time. I love to go up to Mount Baldy. Rosie and Chucky, and I know you're Pastor Chucky, but I know you prefer just Chucky. So we know that children Jubilee's age have basically 3 questions that they're asking themselves. Where do I belong? Who am I? And what is my purpose? And you all seem like you've been kind of already focusing on that with Jubilee. But I kind of want to ask you guys how that fits in with your philosophy for your daughter. Where does she belong? How do you help her with these questions? Where do I belong? Who am I? What is my purpose?
You want to answer? Oh, well, the who am I, we always say it's more important to say whose am I.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So it's not who am I, you won't know who
am
you
I?
are. And we've told the kids this, when Jesus told Peter, who do men say that I am? And Peter answered, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. And so Peter didn't know who he was. At that point, he was just Simon. So we told the kids, it says, you won't know who you are till you know who he is. And then you got to know who that you are his.
Yes. So
So we raise the kids that way. And we always try to bring that home. Another thing Rosie and I were talking about recently about the kids was, so important nowadays with everything going on. That scripture, train up a child right? In the way he will
ways
go.
and when
they're old, they won't depart. Now, it doesn't mean they won't have some rebellious periods
But
or
they'll
whatever.
come back.
But they'll be back.
They'll come back.
But the training part has changed because the tactics of the enemy have changed.
Yes.
Yes.
So the training now, to me, is we have to be more spiritually militant about what we believe
Yes.
and our core. So I'm always on the kids, and Rosie too. We're on the kids, both of them, about their belief system and their convictions.
Okay.
Because if you don't have convictions, you'll fall for anything. You'll slip, you know. So that's a big part of when we raise the kids. It sounds strict, and it probably is sometimes, but we're not here to just be friends to them. We're here to parent them
Yes.
and to train them. And then when they get older, they'll appreciate it and they'll never depart.
Okay, so I know that participation in sports helps your children make lasting friendships, develop communication skills, feel a part of their community. It helps develop discipline, time management. For you all, I know which her dream is. Do you all have a dream for her?
That she would retire us. No.
At this rate,
We always joke like
at this rate, she probably will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to take that? Or?
Well, my dream, I see everything that she can be. And I always tell her, you could, believe in yourself. You could do anything you can set your mind to do. But especially because you are a daughter of the King, you are set apart. And that the greater one is within you. You could do anything. And so my dream is always so that she sees herself that way.
Okay.
That's my first dream for her. That she sees and knows that she's special. She's chosen. She's set apart for greatness. So that's my biggest dream for her.
Do you feel that way?
I do. I do. So I'm trying to probably work on seeing myself more of that way, but currently, yeah, I do a little bit. It's coming through.
Let me ask you, when you are at these tournaments, I'm going to go back to that movie, because once again, not just the movie, it was a great movie. But like I said, I had children too, taking them to basketball games and football games and watching crazy parents. And so do you guys experience that? Okay, Jubilee, I'm going to let you talk.
We got stories.
Yeah, we've experienced a lot of one kid almost tried to hit me with a racket. The dad threw a chair. We passed by another tournament. A guy was banging on the fence, yelling at his daughter, saying like, "We came from Nevada." Blah, blah. It was really bad, but
Do they get mad at you personally?
yes,
When you win?
they're nice in the beginning, but then as soon as you start even winning just one game ahead of them, they just flip.
Is this the parents and the tournament and
the kids? Yeah.
the kids? So,
Messy.
So when we saw the girl that didn't want the trophy, she just kept, and her dad comes and he takes it. So that's
That's what happened with her.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
She won. She beat a girl that was very good. The girl and the father left there.
Yeah.
And didn't want the trophy. He just walked out.
Didn't take a picture
because
of
his
her
daughter
either.
got second place.
Yes.
Who would have thought that was a bad thing?
Okay, well, let me ask you guys. How do you feel? I mean, she can't win like every time. Does she?
She's got to win every time, or she doesn't. No.
She doesn't.
You don't get to eat, or you don't, or no, they're going to leave you at the store. Yeah, because and then you're going to have to tell him, go back and get my daughter. Don't leave her.
You know, we say this, and she knows this, and she's gotten real upset. She's learning not to be so critical of herself. She gets very critical of herself. But we always say, did you leave it all on the court?
Okay.
Did you give it all? Then you should be happy. And if you came out anywhere close, you know you gave it your all. That girl was just better than you that day.
So how do you feel when you don't win?
You know, it's always disappointing. As a player, you're like, I want to win. I want to get the trophy. I want to beat this person. But I think most of the times I try to remind myself to feel okay. Like my dad said, when you know that you tried your hardest, and you know that you did your best, then you feel better about yourself. And afterwards, you just forget about it. And I think that's the most healthiest way to move on from it. But then there's other times that you're like really mad because the person was just like total jerk, and then you just lost to them even though you wanted to beat them so bad. And it's like,
You know,
The
I would say
smoothie always helps.
No,
So-
no, I was going to ask you guys about your going in.
Oh no, you just said something earlier that I caught, because if you don't know, I was upstairs and I'm
And yeah,
producing over there, right? But I caught something, the word confidence,
Yes.
and she said the confidence, lose your confidence, 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 and it's so important in anything you do that you have confidence, but not arrogance. So we've really brought down. There's no arrogance. There's just confidence, and some people mistake confidence for arrogance, and it's not the same.
Did you have to watch Cinderella?
And that's, I mean, there's a lot of lessons we, you know, in that,
It's in
in
that
regard,
movie, yeah.
we always, when the
Yeah.
tennis is over, we talk for a little bit. I say, are you ready? Even if she's lost, she go, give me a little time. We'll talk about it. We'll go through what she did, adjust. Then it's over and we go have barbecue or something. We go eat and we just go
I was
and
going to
forget
ask you
it all.
about that. So you
So she-
played tennis.
Yes.
So are you were you the mom in the movie that was helping her? Did you help coach her in the early years?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say, yeah, hitting with her.
Yes, I would hit with her. But like I said, it's a family thing. Because Chucky goes ahead and he hits with her. There's times when we do a 2-on-1. And then there's sometimes when
The two of you guys against
That
her?
was
Yes.
a secret. Now it's out.
No, but then also it's a family thing where sometimes Solomon's able to be with us and they'll play the kids against the parents. And
okay.
then we have brackets like him and I will play against each other, and the winner will play the next person. And she'll play her brother, and that winner will play against each other. So we do that.
You have
So-
a lot of family. You're making, you know what I used to say when my children were growing up? Because I did miss a lot of things. And I would tell people, you know what? I'm making memories.
Yeah.
That was the most important
Yes.
thing for me during those days, was to make memories for my children to look back on, and they do, and I hear them all the time. And so, so after the meet though, and you guys go eat. You meet and then you greet her, and then you go eat.
Yeah.
And we've learned, because she's growing up and she's an individual, right? She's growing up to be the young lady she is. So it's weird, but as a parent, I never thought I'd say that, but I'm still getting to know her personality. And when I'm looking at her, I'm like, is it a good time to talk to her right now? But then when she's in tennis, she gets in a zone. And since she's little, where the coaches would talk to her, and they're here, and she's just looking like this.
they
And
probably think I'm rude sometimes.
she's got that, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant, but that real killer instinct.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask
Yeah.
you. So when you go
Yeah.
into
You know,
this zone, tell us
she-
about that zone.
Yeah.
It's like a blackout almost. You just like oof, just hits you randomly, but I think you think about it so much that you just forget everything. You still hear the coach talking to you, of course, but you just hear them and you know what they're saying, and then you move on with it and just like oof, leave.
Did
When
you
she's in that zone, this is the thing. I know when she's going to win,
Okay.
when
you
she
can
hits
tell.
that zone.
Okay.
When
It's
she's
not
not in
pocket.
that zone,
It falls apart.
it's like this. It's
can
50.
tell.
Yeah.
Did you see the Legend of Bagger Vance, by the way?
Yes,
The golf
I've seen
movie?
that movie, yeah.
Remember that zone when
Yes.
all they could see was that ball going
Right.
through the, yeah.
Yeah.
So that sounds like,
And Pastor Charlene, that's a perfect analogy about focus.
yes.
Because you know the Bible says this, and you preach this all the time. You know, write the vision down, so he who reads it will run with it.
Will
Right?
run with it.
We did something. I said that's such in our DNA. Oh, there it is. That when we did her birthday cake, we put Happy Birthday Jubilee, but we put U.S. Open, Wimbledon, French Open, Australian Open, because we want to put a vision in her. It's not just playing a sport. It's a vision of where God can take you if you put the work in.
I love that. So I have a quick question for you, because I know our time is almost up, but Jubilee has to show me a couple of strokes.
Yes.
So, we know in the movie, okay, so we know that Rick Massey, is that how you say his name?
Macy.
Macy has invited her to the
As
go
of
down
2 weeks
to
ago, he said, hey.
down to
yeah.
Florida? Does he have to buy you guys a mobile home?
No, no. That's probably a once in a lifetime thing.
That's an inside joke. That's encouraging everybody to watch that movie, King Richard. And so who will go with her though when she goes down to Florida? The whole family.
Yeah.
The whole crew.
The whole crew. And Solomon too, if he's not in school.
Yes.
And then I also read Jubilee that, I don't know how to say his name, but Patrick Maratogla, who is Serena Williams' coach, invited you to attend his tennis academy.
Yes.
That happened during Christmas.
Christmas, yeah.
Wow.
And he's in France.
Right. Yeah.
Can I go? Well, this is awesome, awesome. But since I have this tennis pro here, because, oh, wait a minute, let me ask you. So do they still have the juniors and stuff that they had in the movie?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they have
USTA.
all of that. But
Yeah.
but in saying that real quick, well, like
Yeah.
one thing we've decided to do, because she says, there's low points. When you're not winning, you got to go back and readjust and so on.
Right.
So in the movie, and it's so true, they pulled her out, not because she was winning. They just said they didn't want her exposed to all that. So they stopped her from competing, held her back for a few years. That part right there, actually, we've gone through that a little bit. We kind of pulled back a little bit and said, go back for training more. Training. It's so important to get the training before you go out there, because what happens is you go out there and you lose your confidence if you're not ready.
If you're not ready.
If you're not ready.
Right.
And that could really affect anybody in any field. You need your confidence. So
Confidence,
I can
focus,
do all things through Christ.
passion, that focus. When Jubilee, when you were talking, now, because I'm the Bible teacher, and what I kept on thinking was the woman with the issue of blood. I preached that a lot of times. My son Chuck just preached it Sunday, but how she was so focused on getting her healing and everything, because there's a parallel there. She had to, after laying in bed and going to so many doctors and probably wanting to give up, she just said, the only way that I'm going to get well is if I get to Jesus. And she had to, when you're sick, even with the flu, you don't even want to get up to stumble to the kitchen to get some chicken noodle soup. And this woman is having to go through the crowd, but she kept her focus on Jesus. And I see two things with you, Jubilee. Because I see you on Sunday, so I know you and I know your heart, okay? And so I see your focus and your commitment to the Lord, and not just to being a Christian, but to working with the Lord, working for the kingdom. So I see that focus, and then I also see your focus and passion for tennis and for school, to achieve in school. And so you are a really great example of a well-rounded young woman, and I can't wait to, how about we do this right now? Autograph my book. I'm serious. Autograph that book so I can put that up, and in a few years, you can remember that you came to this show. If we need some sponsors, maybe you can sponsor us. Anyhow, so so we're gonna go.
Still producing her.
I know. So, but I want her to. We're totally out of time. But I wanted her to show me a forehand and a backhand. I actually took tennis in high school.
Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't all that. I was okay, but we had tennis, and on those days when it was not pouring down rain, but just slightly, we did have to go out on the courts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't passionate about that. So, Chucky, do we need to go to break, or can Jubilee and I can just
Go to a 30-second break.
30-second break, and then we'll come back in, and then Jubilee's gonna show me a forehand or whatever you want. Yeah, I'm like, show me whatever she wants to show me. Okay, so we're going to be right back. The show is almost over, so come back and watch the end of it. We'll see you in a moment. Well, I am back with Jubilee Perez. And as you know, we've had such a wonderful time talking to Jubilee, talking to her mother, Rosie, to her father, Chucky. It's been an awesome interview. I forgot to ask you something, though, and then Jubilee's going to give me a lesson. Okay, so we know most teenagers eat all kind of everything, junk food. Tell me about, what do you eat?
I try to stay as healthy as I can. I'm gonna have to admit I do eat like pizzas and some other stuff too, you know. But skip around that. But I mostly focus on trying not to have a lot of sodium and calories too, because the intake of that is really bad sometimes, and that could clog stuff in there. But but just stay off.
Do you drink sodas?
I drink sodas, but not like regularly.
Okay. Do you
like,
drink a lot of water?
I drink water, yes, a lot.
A lot of water.
A lot of water, yes.
That's good. So you have to stay hydrated and
it
stuff.
Also flushes out anything bad too. So
yeah. No, that's good. So I told you guys, this girl is you're 14. She turned 14 on February 29th. But don't tell anybody she's really 24, okay? Her birth certificate doesn't say that. So, okay, Jubilee.
Yes.
I haven't played tennis since I was like your age. But I remember there was a forehand and a forehand? And a
backhand.
And a backhand. Now, I want to ask you a question before you give me a lesson. Sometimes I see people hitting with two hands. Mm-hmm. Is it always two hands or is it ever one hand?
It's one hand, but if they're like two-handed on this side, then that means that they're lefties. So they would hit forehand like that.
Okay.
And if you're right-handed, you'd hit forehand on this side, and then backhand on this side. So it just depends if you're right-handed or left-handed.
All right. So give me a lesson. Since I'm getting ready, I told you we have a tennis court, and I'm getting ready to get whatever you call the thing, the back court thing, so that I can get back into
tennis.
Just recreational tennis. You don't have to worry about coming up against me in a tournament. So give me a lesson. So first of all, how do I hold this?
Well, we're going to start off with just regular forehand grip, which is like this. Just flat. That's continental. You want it flat facing
flat.
This way.
That's continental.
And you want just one hand. You're right-handed, right?
Okay.
Okay, like this. And wherever feels comfortable with holding it. I hold it really low for some reason.
Yeah, because mine doesn't feel comfortable way down here. Okay, right here. Okay.
You hold it like that. So what you want to do is you want to go right here, bend your knees, like this way, facing.
Okay.
This way, wind up.
Okay.
You have to have the motion of the left hand too, so it guides it.
I got to turn this way.
And then you're going to swing. I know there's not a lot of room, but
no, I'm not
you're going to swing like this and brush up.
So I'm swinging to the... Oh, like if the ball was coming.
Yeah, if the ball's coming this way, you want to
swing like that.
Swing.
Swing low. I can't be nutty. Okay, so I'm going to do like that.
Do it like that and cross over the shoulder.
Do it like that and cross over the
shoulder.
Shoulder.
Shoulder,
you
like
seem
this.
like a ballerina. You did that so smoothly. So smoothly. Okay, so that's my forehand.
That's the forehand. And
I don't
then
want to
for
hit
the
that
backhand, you're going to want to hold it. Sorry if I'm moving too
No,
fast.
that's fine. Okay.
But you want to hold it like this. At least that's how I hold it.
Okay.
And then you're going to want to grab with the other hand.
Okay.
And you're going to want to go like this, bend this knee in the front.
Okay.
And then you're going to dip down low and swoosh up.
I'm going to dip down low and hit that ball.
Up. Across the shoulder.
Okay, wait a minute. Watch. Oh, always got to follow through.
Yes.
Oh, so it's not just a follow through in bowling, it's a follow through in... Okay, I'm going to watch you one more time. Okay. All right, let's do that one more time. Oh, that was so fun.
That was good.
That was so
good.
fun. I love it. Oh, my gosh. There's another question I wanted to ask you. We're totally out of time. I cannot... When's your next tournament?
I actually don't know because currently right now I'm focusing just on practicing so I can win more and more tournaments.
That's awesome.
So I'm just focusing on practicing right now, but I would say maybe within a month or so. And then I'll be ready. Good. Just preparation and then go into the tournaments that way. So
I know what I was going to ask you. Okay, so I want you to look Into that camera right there. No, I want you to look into camera one. So I want them to get a close-up of you. And if there was a young person and they're considering tennis, just give them some kind of an encouragement, but tell them what it's going to take. And you can look straight into that camera, right? Just 1 second. Yeah, they're going to focus that camera
Not my
for you.
knees.
Okay, so now, tell them, look in that camera and tell them, what will it take for them? What do they need to have on the inside? Put it in your own words.
Okay. What it takes for tennis, any other sport, or in life even, is determination, confidence, and willingness. So you have to have the willingness to be open to new ideas, to people criticizing you even, to build your character that way, confidence in yourself and confidence in knowing who you are, and determination in beating the other person and just going in life and you're hitting your goal target. So willingness, determination, and confidence.
I love it. And to the parents, it does take a village. And so you saw her main village was a village of 3. Her father, Chucky, her mom, Rosie, and her brother, Solomon.
Yes.
And I know her grandparents are very involved in her life too. But those are the 3. So parents, yes, it takes sacrifice, but just like you have vision for you, your parents have vision for you too. So pray and look at your child and pray and ask God, what direction does he want your child to be in? Because it might be athletics, it might be something else. And so, but praise God for you, Jubilee.
Thank you.
I
Thank
pray
you.
for you as
Thank
we
you.
end. Lord Jesus, I thank you for Jubilee. And I pray, Lord, that you would guide her path, Lord. And Lord, that you would continue to talk to her parents. Lord, you say, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not to thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge you and you'll direct their path. And so, Lord, we pray you continue to use Chucky and Rosie to direct Jubilee, and that you would continue to pour into her heart the love of you, and that she would make a difference in this sport of tennis for your name. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
Well, this has been so
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we're going to see you next week. Next week, we're going to see you. Next Wednesday is my birthday. And
birthday.
we're having a birthday party right here on set. So I invite you to join us next Wednesday, June 15th, my birthday. We have all kind of people here, and we're going to celebrate me. So see you next week. Thank you again,
Thank you.
Jubilee.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rosie. Thank you, Chucky. Thank you, Brother Charles. And he's getting pictures. And we're going to do we have to
Do a little.
do do like that.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go, Charles. See you next week.